Hello and welcome to Linuxort. In the last few days there has been an absolute earthquake in the IT world. A news story circulated that probably drove system administrators worldwide into a threat. A highly critical security vulnerability was discovered. And the crazy thing about it is that it lay completely unnoticed deep in the heart of Linux for almost a decade. 9 whole years. Security experts have given it the fitting name copy fail. Today we'll look together at exactly what happened, explain who is affected and what you need to do now, and answer the big question, is Linux actually still secure, especially in our AI age? Hi, my name is Jean and let's start from the very beginning. What exactly is copy on fail exploit? In the technical jargon, what happens here is called a local privilege escalation. Sounds complicated, but it's basically just means someone massively expands their local rights and usually becomes an administrator. Imagine an attacker already has a foot in your door. This could be a simple guest account on an open server, a vulnerability in a website, or someone who accidentally clicked on a malicious link. Normally in this state, the attacker can't do much damage because they don't have enough permissions. Usually just limited user rights. But with this copy and fail exploit, this actually changes in milliseconds. This harmless guest suddenly becomes the root user. And the crazy part is you can execute it yourself. And it's really easy. Just a single command is enough to exploit this vulnerability. And if you don't know what the root user is in Linux, it's basically the ultimate administrator who can do even more than on Windows. Whoever is root can do everything, change passwords, completely take over the system, compromise all data, mount attached hard drives, boot up, shut down operating systems. Literally everything is possible when you're root at Linux. The truly terrifying thing about the specific copy fail exploit is how incredibly easy and also reliable it works. It really just takes this single line of code we have here. And if we just look at the whole script, that's enough. That's the whole exploit. You can take over the entire system every single time with exactly this. No crashes, no guessing games, it always just works. Let's take a look what exactly this copy fail exploit does. To understand how it works, we have to look at a brilliant concept in Linux, the so-called copy on write mechanism. Don't worry, it's simpler than it sounds. Imagine we are in a large university library. 100 students need to read the exact same thick book for a term paper. If the library had to print a separate 1000-page book for everyone, that would be an absolute waste of paper and space. So the library, our kernel, does something much smarter. It places a single original book in the middle. This is our blue one here. This means all the different processes can read from it at the same time. This saves an enormous amount of RAM compared to duplicating this exact thing 100 times in our example. And that makes a huge difference for a computer. But what happens if a student now wants to highlight a sentence with a marker on a certain page, for example on page 3? If they did that in the original book, all the students and all the processes would suddenly see their personal notes. The original would be then changed. And exactly here is where copy on write comes in. In the milliseconds before the student touches the paper with their pen on page 3, for example, the system briefly stops the process, sends it to the copier, and gives them a photocopy of exactly that one page. This is our copy of page 3. And they are only allowed to scribble on this copy. Everyone else continues, see the normal page 3, and this exact concept is copy on write. So when we want to write on the page, we just get a copy where we can write on it. This is exactly what the copy fail exploit takes advantage of. Due to a faulty optimization in the encryption system from 2017, the attacker manages to write their malicious code directly in the sacred original book without our Linux noticing it at all. So progress 1 here would be still writing in that original page here, and everyone else will read from it. And yeah, this exactly process can be exploited in a very nasty way. You can basically write anything into the RAM and thus become the root user relatively quickly. So much for the technical side. Now you're probably asking yourself, does this affect me? And the answer is clear, yes, you probably are. Because basically the entire Linux world is affected. The flaw sits deep in the Linux kernel itself, the engine, or rather the heart of our operating system. And since it affects almost all main versions since 2017, it doesn't matter if you use Ubuntu, Debian, Linux Mint, Arch Linux, Amazon Linux, or a home server, the engine under the hood is all the same. It's this Linux kernel. This is especially critical for the modern internet, to be honest. The servers for most websites today, like online banking, but also huge cloud environments, all naturally run on Linux. And the huge problem is also the so-called container technology, like Docker, for example, or Snaps, Podman, or Kubernetes. And basically any container can do this with this exploit, which is insane. For normal desktop users at home, I would say the risk is lower, because the attacker first has to get onto your computer. That means if you trust all users who have been active on your computer during that time, not much should have happened, unless you accidentally caught some malware that takes control of your PC. But so far, no such cases in the desktop sector is known personally to me or from my customer base. What do we do now if we are affected by this bug? The solution is, thank God, relatively simple. It's update, update, update. Keep your system up to date. Developers worldwide reacted extremely quickly and provided repaired kernel versions. So just install this update via your package manager. It's completely irrelevant if you're using SUSE, Debian, Ubuntu, Linux Mint, Arch Linux, of course. And if that's not possible on a large server, there are also temporary workarounds like blocking certain kernel modules. But to be honest, in the long run, the update is really the only true way, and you definitely should do it. And here comes the absolutely most important takeaway of this video. The update alone is unfortunately not enough. You absolutely must restart your computer unless you have live patching activated, for example, which most of us won't. So why do we have to restart our computer? Because your computer is currently running in the RAM. And when you download an update, the system only swaps the broken file on your hard drive for the new healthy file, but the running engine, our kernel itself in the RAM, is still the old broken one, and it only gets set up in a new process when we reboot our computer. This means only when you shut down the system completely, we will have the new secure version be loaded from the hard drive into the RAM. So these messages, please restart your computer to apply updates, that's no joke, and in this specific case, you definitely have to do it. Now, we rightly ask ourselves, how can such a massive bug remain undiscovered for 9 whole years in the Linux kernel? Aren't the best programmers in the world working on this? And I would say, yes, there are. The problem isn't the incompetence, but really an unbelievable complexity slumbering under the hood. The Linux kernel consists of over 30 million lines of code. It has to run perfectly on a tiny Raspberry Pi as well on the largest supercomputers in the world, and it's almost the same code base. Bugs like this don't usually arise because someone worked carelessly. They arise from well-intentioned optimizations. Someone wanted to make an encryption faster back in 2017, and that's fine. We all got a faster Linux kernel, maybe a bit. Taken on its own, it worked perfectly. There were no flaw. But only years later did someone combine exactly this fast code with a completely different memory function. And boom, it crashed. Nobody can completely foresee such change of almost random circumstances over nearly a decade. But This bug also gives us good news, and perhaps the most exciting realization from this whole incident at all. The almost 10-year-old bug was found by researchers only with the help of an AI tool. So what used to take human experts for years, the AI actually tracked down this specific exploit in only about an hour. And that's incredibly fast. Some find it scary, but honestly, it's great for us. If AI helps us find and fix our logic errors extremely quickly, it makes our entire infrastructure much more secure in the long run. Things like HTTPS or your VPN connections are all based on such code. So therefore, I'm an absolutely advocate of AI here. It will be used anyway, so we might as well use it to make our systems even more secure. This leads us to the question, is Linux still safe? Does this incident make Linux an insecure operating system? And my clear answer is no, it doesn't. Absolutely not. There's a persistent myth that Linux is unhackable, which is nonsense, of course. Every software has bugs, but Linux has fundamental security mechanisms. By default, you are not an administrator in Linux. You operate on the least privilege, meaning you only have the rights you absolutely need. This makes it hard to destroy the whole system. In Windows, for example, it works fundamentally differently. And regarding the eternal debate, isn't open source more insecure compared to closed proprietary software like Windows or macOS? I would flat out deny that. The open source principle is based on transparency. Many eyes see more than just a few in a large security department. That's mostly true, which is why patches for Linux are often available within hours, as was the case here. So proprietary companies often rely on security by obscurity, but if a small group secretly builds a backdoor into closed code, it's much less likely to be seen. We saw exactly this attempt with the XSET vulnerability in 2024. Because it was open source, it was tracked down. That would likely have gone differently with proprietary code. In my opinion, transparency is always the better way in the long run, provided the software is actively maintained. Let's come to the conclusion. What should you take away from this video? First of all, this copy-fail exploit is very serious though, especially for server administrators. It shows how sophisticated cyber attacks are today and how quickly AI can find vulnerabilities. Secondly, there's no reason to panic. The Linux community works excellently and the patches are available, so this worked almost perfect. And security is not an end state you reach once during the installation of, for example, Linux Mint. You can think of it a bit like brushing your teeth. You have to stay at it permanently, ensure your system is up to date, practice password hygiene, and keep regular backups. Even our AI age, anyone who regularly maintains and updates the system can continue to use Linux with a very secure feeling. System administrators who already have good routines in their daily work could take the issue relatively calmly. So update as quickly as possible, restart once, and that was it for that exploit. Most updates actually appeared on the very same day the vulnerability became public, so on the April 30th. This was good behavior of all the distributions. With that, we are almost done. Whoever wants to test for themselves whether they are still affected, they can try to execute this single code line we have here. We'll do that right now. I just copy that one and we go into my terminal and I just try to paste this and to run it. We just download a script from this URL and then we just run it with Python. And hopefully not, we will have administrator rights after that. And let's try this here. No, that doesn't work. I still need to type in a password. So my personal system is already fixed. But how does it look like on an old machine where we didn't apply that patch? Let's just try that. I just start the terminal and I just paste this command, and this system is not updated yet, so we will try it out and then we are already root as we see it in this terminal. we see the hash, and if we type in ID, we see user ID root. That's not good. Now we could enter, for example, apt update without ever having entered a root password. And to be honest, apt update is certainly the nicest command an attacker could execute here. So make sure your system has updates, and then nothing will happen to your system. If this video helped you out understanding this complex topic, I'd love if you subscribed and give this video a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if your system is already up to date. And thank you so much for watching. Until the next time, stay safe and definitely don't forget your updates. Bye!